Economists predict that the real estate market will recover in 2024 after the spike in mortgage rates we saw and the shortage of inventory sent sales tumbling to a 28-year low in 2023. Home sales are likely to climb 14% this year, according to Lawrence Yun, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, and that would be the single biggest annual gain in more than 4 decades. So according to their data, we're looking at a pretty active year in the market. Now, NAR is predicting that the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate will be at about 6.3% by the fourth quarter of this year, which is down from a staggering 7.8% that we saw in the final 3 months of 2023, which could entice more owners to give up the super low rates they received during the pandemic and put their homes on the market for sale. Home buyers that are out looking at homes for sale, it hasn't really translated into more sales for you guys. In fact, the number of newly listed houses is up from a year ago. However, pending home sales is down. So the 2024 selling season has the potential to break some new ground according to NAR, but will April showers bring more houses? Will interest rates decrease or stabilize? Stick around to find out as we bring you all things real estate in Coastal Delaware. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Matt Lunden. I'm a local real estate agent here in Coastal Delaware, and I put out content each and every week discussing all things Coastal Delaware and what it's like to live here. If that's something that you would like to see some more of, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. And then if you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell real estate here in Coastal Delaware, that's what we help you with every single day. And me and my team love hearing from you guys here on the channel. So all my information is going to be down below in the description and right here on the screen. If we can help in absolutely any way, please don't hesitate to reach out. Now let's get back to the market. Let's address the elephant in the room. 3 months into 2024, and mortgage rates are not really where some people predicted, and they certainly are not dropping nearly as fast as many of the talking heads were telling you they were going to, and they intended them to. So in December of 2023, the Fed said that they weren't going to raise rates and acted like they had already dropped them, when the reality is they hadn't. They had put a plan in funding rate to be dropped throughout this year. The goal of the Fed and the way they're addressing the funding rate cuts is to achieve that soft landing you keep hearing about with the economy and help us get through the problematic inflation that we've seen over the last few years without a total destruction of the economy in total. Now, new economic data has been promising, and it's been pointing in the right direction that the spending is slowing down, and we're seeing inflation retreat to more normal levels in line with historical averages. It's no secret, everything's more expensive, so obviously spending is slowing down. So it's likely going to keep rates a little bit higher than many of those people anticipated throughout much of 2024. Now, I don't believe we're going to see the 8% rates that we saw in 2023, but certainly will see things settle in the upper 6s to maybe 7% range, at least for the next coming months until they really start those rate cuts with their federal funding rate. It doesn't seem like we're going to see a big drastic drop off like some people were telling you it would. 7% number is kind of the comfort threshold for many consumers, not only that we talk to, but across the entire country, because every time the rate drops below that 7% mark, we see an uptick in market activity, and we see a bunch more buyers back in the market. And then once we see it spike back above 7%, we see a big decline in the amount of activity. So just something to keep our eyes on as we go out throughout the year, that if interest rates do start to decline at a more rapid rate, the buyer side will become much more competitive and it will be much harder to find a home. Now, inventory of homes is still very low when compared to our historical averages, and much of what is available has gone kind of stale on the market. So we're seeing many new construction opportunities coming about throughout all of Coastal Delaware, which has certainly helped the inventory equation. But for those of you that don't necessarily want to go through the build process or simply don't have the timeline to wait for building new, often, we see those people just kind of hanging out and waiting to see what happens because there's not many good opportunities that are currently on the market. However, that has slowly started to change over the last 2 weeks to a month. And as we start to see signs of indicates to be a pretty active spring market, there's just not a lot of homes for sale yet. However, we are starting to see a lot more of those multiple offers. So it's going to be interesting to see at the start of the spring selling season if we begin to see more houses hit the market or if it continues to remain low. I feel like a broken record over the last 12 to 16 months with all the low inventory talk, but the reality is that it really has not gotten much better over that stretch of time. Every time more homes come on the market, that they go under contract just as quickly. We have a ton of pent-up buyer demand, so anything new that comes on the market, it is going under contract pretty quickly as long as it's priced right and in good condition. I've had a few buyers over the last couple of weeks that have submitted some offers, and we're not the only offer anymore. There was a stretch of time there where we were kind of the only ones, and we can kind of dictate the terms a little bit, but we're starting to see multiple offers, and in some cases, we're starting to see people going over asking price in order to secure the home. I'm hopeful that it does not go down the same path that we saw in 2021 when we had 20 or 30 offers on each and every home that came on the market. But only time is going to tell if we're headed down that path. Let me know down in the comments what you're thinking about the market this year, if you think it's going to be more active, and what you think interest rates are going to do this year. For the third straight month, we have seen less than 1,000 total closings per month across all of Delaware. That number is typically somewhere in the 1,200 to 1,400 per month range. At least that's what it was across 2023. Historically, we can talk about different numbers, but it marks the first time in a long time that we've seen numbers that low. So that just further solidifies what we've been talking about and what we've been saying on how low inventory and not a lot of great options to look at are kind of what's remaining to be the story throughout. As inventory remains low and we head into the spring market, we can only imagine that there's going to be more competition occurring on the buying side, particularly if rates continue trending downwards towards that 6% number, something that many are hopeful for and many are predicting will happen. So the reality is, what does this all mean? What does all that mumbo jumbo mean? Well, for buyers, it could start to get pretty tricky. If you or someone you know was in the market trying to buy a home during 2021 and 2022, you know that it felt crazy submitting all these different offers, and you had to, give up your firstborn child in order to get an offer accepted. And you were not the only one making offers on, the same home. On average, we were seeing buyers submitting 5 to 7, sometimes even way more than that, offers before finally getting one accepted. And all the horror stories of being unable to find a place, and when you do, someone else already paid $100,000 more than what it was listed at just to get the home. I don't personally feel that we are headed down that aggressive of a path, but I certainly feel as though we are starting to see a lot more competition in the resale market for buyers. That means that we need to focus on writing our best possible offer from the start. Again, there's a variety of ways that we can do that, and we're going to do it depending on your scenario and not make you uncomfortable. But it could mean that you're going to need to submit offers on a few different homes as you go along before you finally getting under contract on one. My advice would be to look at some of the ones that maybe have been sitting for a little bit and people have started to ignore. For sellers, the name of the game still pretty much remains the same. Well, in 2021, basically anybody could throw any price on a house and it would sell in a matter of 4 hours. Buyers are a little more cognizant of the market now and how they need to proceed forward. So we're seeing homes sit that are priced incorrectly. So it's very, very important to make sure that you're pricing the home correctly from the start, because as the days on market increase, they start to develop a stigma that something's wrong with it, and buyers will just stop looking at it after a certain point until there is some movement either in price or, what the marketing of the home is to get more eyes back on the property. So pricing your home correctly from the start is going to be the biggest advantage to any seller in really any market, but particularly right now, along with making sure that you're aligning yourself with a professional who utilizes professional photography and marketing to really make sure that your property gets the most visible eyes on it from the start. There's nothing worse than logging on and seeing a $2 million home listed and it's somebody who took pictures with their cell phone and they're all sideways and the lighting is terrible. Just make sure that you're aligning with a professional who trust other professionals. Now, there's no telling exactly what the future holds for 2024, but if the trends we are currently following continue, we can expect a much more active market than we saw in 2023, with a lot more competition on the buyer side and some sellers finally letting go of the homes they've been holding on to for years. So we could see a little bit more inventory from those that are just waiting on the sideline for some rate relief. That's going to do it for today's update on what we're seeing in the market and how it may impact you. Again, if you're new here, my name is Matt London. I'm a local real estate agent here in Coastal Delaware, and we put out content each and every week discussing all things Coastal Delaware. If that's something you would like to see some more of, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. And then if you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell real estate here in Coastal Delaware, again, me and my team love hearing from you guys here on the channel. So all my information is going to be down below in the description and right here on the screen. If we can help in absolutely any way, don't hesitate to reach out. I hope to see you guys next time. Peace.